Hello there, it's down here. I'm not in the shed, I'm actually at home showing you how to make a simple cider. So we'll start off apples. Whether you get them from the allotment or you know somebody who's got them. I've got 3 apple trees, so I've got a fair amount. I have been using them up. Last week I decided to make a cider, a pear cider or pear wine, whatever you want to call it. So I want to show you a simple way how to do that. So let's show you how to do it. But first off, what you need: demijohn, that's 5 litres, that's £12 from Wilco. Brewing sugar, it's for wine and beer, but I find this is a bit cleaner because I was doing some of the kits, seems to work fine. So I want to see if this makes a difference in a cider, whether it makes it cleaner, faster, I don't know, we'll have to see. But as you can see, this one here, if I move that, obviously it's active and it's still bubbling away there, so whether that makes any difference, I don't know, we'll just have to see. So I think it's 65 pence for a kilo or 500 grams at the shops, but this seems to work fine, so I want to see if it makes a difference. I did make some last year and it was fantastic, but I want to see if this is any better. Anyway, that, you need one of these. I think it's £2 for 2, I can't remember, Wilco. And you need a nutribullet if you've got one, or a food processor, or even a juicer. I think last year, the first cider I did, I used a juicer, if you got one of them. So we'll just have to see. So I'll show you what I do. First off, you want to make sure it's sterilised. I had some of this in the house from years ago, even though you could say it's out of date, but you can still use this. If you've got some of that, use that. All you need to do is just put a little drop in here, a little bit of warm water from the kettle, give it a shake, make sure everything's sterilised, and then pour that down the sink and rinse it out with cold water. So I've got the apples, quartered them. I've took the core out. You don't want the core in because it's got the pips in, so you don't want that little bitterness in there. I've took the bad parts on the outside of the apple, and basically you give them a whiz. I've got my funnel in the demijohn. I've got a sieve, a fine sieve, because there's going to be lumps. And that basically pours into there. Obviously it's still going to be lumpy. You know, the pulp's a little bit red because obviously the skins, you want the skin on because it's got the, is it the tannin, what you need for wine making, cider making. So basically all you do is just do that, just get it through as best as you can. Obviously clean the sieve as you go, and eventually go through, and you do the whole process until this is full. So that's it, they've been whizzed up. This took about 28 apples to do this, so you can see it's quite full. It isn't pure apple juice. Obviously I've put the apples in there, put some water in, just out the tap. It doesn't have to be sterilised, doesn't matter, it's clean. And you pour it in here so it's still like pulp, and you do press it down so you can get a little bit extra juice out of it. And that's it for the next stage. So the next stage, and you might think this is stupid, I've already put the juice into here, but the reason why I put the juice in here first is to know exactly how far to go up. I have got obviously too much in here, but a lot of this is pulp. So the next stage is using your cheesecloth, because when you put the juice in here, even though I've used the fine sieve, there's going to be pulp in it. So all I'm going to do is pour this in here. I could just leave it in the demijohn, put the yeast in the sugar, and it would probably make it easier, but you're not going to end up with as much cider. Bowl, it's just a normal, I don't know what size bowl you would say, the 5 litre bowl probably. Put that in there, and then lift the cheesecloth up carefully because it's quite full. I want to get as much as the particles from that apple out. I'm really surprised the one I did on Sunday had a lot more pulp in it. You want to get as much as you can out. Ideal. See, normally when you make a wine, normally you put all your fruit and pulp or whatever you're going to do in a 25 litre bucket, leave that for a couple of days, a week, or however you want to do it to get as much flavour out of the thing. So there you go. So the reason why I do it is because you have all of this. And if I had a finer one, I'd probably put it through, but I haven't. So what we'll do next is this goes back in here once I've sterilised it and cleaned it again. I know it's a bit of a process, but if you want to make your own cider, it's one of them things you have to do anyway. I'll come back once the cider's back in here. So it's been put back in here, it's been put through obviously the cheesecloth, we want to call it. And if you want to, you can put this sieve back on there to catch a few more particles if you want to. There's a kilo here, put 500. If you feel safer measuring it, go ahead, but I've got an idea of how much. I'll just put my thumb in half, so, and that's it. Pour this in. Bit more. There you go. Like I said, if you find it easier just to measure the 500 grams. It's always the same, the more sugar you put in, the stronger it's going to be. That's what I found with wine. I'll show you the next stage in a minute. So the sugar's in, next stage is to put some yeast in. Normally get the 5 grams, there's 50 grams here. But I've got an idea what 5 grams is. 5 grams. And then some nutrient, a little bit. Little splash of that, there you go. So before I go, I'll add this little bit. You need the liquid to be slightly warm, so if you want to put about a litre of warm water with the sugar, if that's easier for you, then put in the funnel. You want it slightly warm for the yeast to activate. Okay, mine is warm, so it's alright. So the yeast, nutrient, and the sugar's in there, but as you can see, it's settled at the bottom of the sugar. So you don't leave it. All you do is give it a shake. Incorporate it into it. Oh, I'm shaking like anything. So you're activating the yeast, the sugar, everything. There you go. That's it. And you should in a way have a bit less of a neck. But you won't find out until obviously when it starts fermenting, and if it gets too much, just take a little bit of liquid out. Always remember, sterilise everything. Everything that I've used has been sterilised. The last thing is your stopper. Just put a little bit of water in. And that's it. And hopefully in a good few weeks, like I say, you start noticing once it stops fermenting, you transfer it to another demijohn if you've got one. I'll be buying a couple more so I can do that sort of thing. And then let it settle down, transfer it till it gets clear, and hopefully it's looking alright. Sugar settle a bit more, might give it another shake. But yeah, that's it. That's a simple cider, a nutribullet. I'm not saying that everybody's got all this equipment to do all this, but if you have, give it a go. If you haven't, try and work out some way out to do it. Like it says, like a food processor that blends stuff. If you've got a press, but I haven't got a press, but this is probably the easiest way for me to make cider, and it has worked. So give it a go. Comments, whatever you like. See you later, bye.